I'm getting more professional at this.
That's good.
I think we're live.
Okay.
Hello, passionate listeners and watchers. Please let me know if you can hear me. I'm still working out this live streaming, but I can see a few of you there. Vanessa, Craig, Prachi, Richard, and Hakan. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, we are live. And my friend Silvia is on the show. Silvia, I've got a blank and it's early morning for me. Can you please?
Sure. It's Silvia Isachsen, and thank you for having me on your show.
I'm so excited to have Silvia on the show. And if you don't already know who she is, she's got the most incredible YouTube channel. Aside from interviewing a lot of near-death experiences, she has some wonderful content. So I really encourage you to have a look at her channel, and the link will be below in the show notes. It's funny how we connected. I think we became friends on Facebook, and I just thought to myself, I know we're going to do something together. We're going to collaborate in some way. And then the next day you messaged me and invited me on your show. And now you're on my show. But it's one of those sort of friendships. Like, don't I know you? Just one of those connections. So
I agree. And I'm really happy to be here. And I feel the same kinship with you. I feel the same vibration. I love your show too.
And I was thinking about it on the show last time. Silvia mentioned that in the future, we're going to collaborate and do some sort of workshop or event together. I'm manifesting that, but that'll sort of be in the future.
Yes. Definitely. I am looking forward to doing that. And, the thing is that I think that we're doing the same thing. And that's why we feel a kinship. We're creating a beautiful, safe place where people can discuss spirituality openly.
I agree. And it's just such a nice community. Actually, someone, sorry, I can't remember who it was, but called it the Passion Harvest Family. And I thought that was such a beautiful name to, as you said, create such a safe space for people to express their uniqueness and shine and their weirdness and all of themselves without judgment. And I really love that. I can see a lot of you joining on. Thank you so much. I guess we'll get started, Silvia, if you're okay. And I thought what we'd do is hear about Silvia's incredible dream. I can't wait to hear about it. And then we'll answer some questions from the audience. So Silvia, whenever you're ready, you're a professional at this. I'd love you to share your dream about Jesus and his message with the audience.
Sure. I'm really excited to be here. Hello to all of your audience, and thank you again, Luisa, for having me. So I'll give you just a bit of backstory before I jump into it and telling you about my dream of Jesus. So I'm a dreamer, and I do have dreams that are spectacular. I've loved all of my dreams, and I've shared my dreams on my channel, but I never imagined that. I kind of hoped. Maybe I did imagine it, but I hoped that I could speak with Jesus. I wasn't sure that I was going to have a dream like my other dreams that I had, but this one was beyond anything I could have imagined. So here's how it started. In 2020, I found myself in Sedona, Arizona, and it was at the end of the year near my wedding anniversary. And my husband said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to go to Sedona, Arizona. I want to feel the vortexes, and I want to do this." So he said, "Okay, sure, we'll do it. We will go there and we'll check it out." So he said, "Do you mind if another couple comes with us?" I said, "Sure, that'll be fine. We'll all go together." So we did, and we went up onto the mountains, the mesas, I guess you could say, and I was feeling the vibes. But honestly, I expected to, as a sensitive person, same like you, Luisa, I expected to actually feel the vibration. So when I didn't feel it, I thought, you know what, that's okay. This is going to be beautiful anyways. I'm just going to have a nice time, and I'm just going to take it for what it is. And so I went home that night, and we were laughing and joking, and then I fell asleep. And then suddenly Jesus appears straight in front of me. And the reason I'm sharing this, because it's very personal, as soon as I start talking about it, I get emotional, is because I'm hoping that it will help people, give them a different perspective and help them on their journey. That's why I'm sharing it. Otherwise, I don't even know, because it was so personal. So he took his hand like this and he placed it in front of his heart. And he was like, to me, he seemed like he was 6 foot tall, and he was taller than me. He was about just an arm's length away, because with his other arm, he brought it up and put it to my heart. His mouth wasn't moving, but I could feel his beautiful self. He looked so beautiful. He had on a robe, and I remember red piping and blue. And I remember seeing him, like, just being amazed that he was there. And I remember even saying, Jesus, is that you? And then information started to go from his heart to my heart. And I felt like it was downloading into my being. And this information was meant to inform and help and enhance my life, because in my personal and private prayers, it is to help me gain more understanding and wisdom, so I could have more joy and more, just, live a life that was happy, but not only happy, but helping other people and my own family and life. So then he said to me, Sylvia, I'm going to tell you some things, and these things are going to help you understand who I am and why I came, because there seems to be some misunderstanding. And I thought, misunderstanding? How could we have misunderstood? And he said, first of all, I want you to know that you are Alpha and Omega. You never die. You have eternal life, is what he said to me. And I was like, that's good. And he said, what you think is your life is an experience, and you'll have many experiences, but you are Alpha and Omega. So I thought, okay, that's my first lesson. And then I'm listening to him continue on talking to me, and he helped me to, I feel like, do you have a question, Luisa? I'm sorry, I'm just going on. And
no, I love, you're doing a beautiful job.
okay.
I just want to say I love you, how, people talk about telepathy, but he shared information from his heart to your heart. I thought that was such a beautiful description. Please go on. You're
Okay.
doing, I'm loving it.
Okay, so he showed me the universe, and I could see the universe, and he said, that's your reflection. And I said, do you mean like just me? Or like, what do you mean? The whole universe is my reflection? And he said, no, the whole universe is your reflection. And then he said to me, the kingdom is within. And I said, do you mean the kingdom of God is within? And he said, the kingdom is within. And I'd heard that before, it's not as if I hadn't heard that, but suddenly the knowing and the understanding, that's my little dog here. You might hear him.
No, I haven't heard him. Hello, doggy.
Yeah. The knowing and the understanding that came to me due to the transference at the same time. So this whole time he has his hand in front of my heart, and vice versa of his. And he said, the kingdom is within. And when he said that, I understood, this is what I understood, is that the power of creation, of co-creation with God, and how every single thought and every single feeling and my heart's desire, all of the, and fears too, like everything we feel, our vibration is reflected into the universe. And I said, isn't it like the other way around? Doesn't the universe bring you things? And he said, no, we project onto, so we're co-creators along with God, and we project that onto the universe. And I thought, well, that really changes things for me. So I had never thought that way before. I didn't really understand the world in that way. Like everyone else, I hoped and wished and prayed and was waiting for that, but he showed me that everything was within. And so I guess it shifted my entire state of being. And it changed my life the way that he showed me that. So now when I move forward in my life, that is my basic message. Is I understand that we think that, first of all, that we have one life and this is your life and that you die. And that's not true. And then we think that God is separate from us and that he's somewhere else, but he's actually right within us. And that's the power of creation within us and lives in our heart. So your heart is a very powerful place where whatever desires or fears that you have within your heart is actually your connection with God and with everyone else too. And I did ask that question. I'm like, well, what about everybody else? Everybody else is, it's like, it's like a diamond that has a lot of cuts to it. We're all the same, and all of us collectively are creating this back onto ourselves. So I was just looking at him, and the love that was coming through was incredible. I still was thinking in my mind, like this was a lucid dream. I was awake and I was like, I can't believe you're here, Jesus. And he was like, again, his facial expressions weren't talking to me, but he was smiling to me and just sharing this beautiful love.
Silvia, thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, a lot of people are saying they can hear the emotion and how what a beautiful experience that was. You talk about that God is within us and the kingdom is within us, and I think we agree on so many things. Often I find a lot of people feel that life happens to them. And I found personally with me, when I realized my internal landscape or my kingdom or God is within me and I create my reality and I'm not a victim, it actually changed my life. How do you feel about that?
I agree 100%. And, the dream is coming back to me. And like I said, I had a little sleep before I came because I was a bit I really haven't shared this. As a matter of fact, on my channel, I shared it, but I put it to private but I feel it's so important that I must share this. Jesus also brought out a card. I mean, I don't know where he came from, but it was a card, and it was a long, narrow card, and it said imagination. And then as he's giving me this information, our imaginations is what creates our reality. So what you just said, that connects with what you said. But when I tell people that just in person, it seems like it just doesn't penetrate. Like even my friends or my family, like they don't realize, what are you talking about? We create the reality? You mean, why would I create this sickness, or why would I create that? And I get angry, and that's why I'm reluctant to talk about that, because even though I know it to be true, and I am a lot more vigilant about what I think and feel and do, and judgment and all that stuff, really what I'm doing when I'm judging someone is I'm getting it back to me. It's basically, it's manifesting fear, and it's manifesting anything that's within my soul that I'm not admitting to myself, because the language of God is vibration and energy. Therefore, you can't really hide. You maybe can say that you're hiding it, but they know what your heart is and what your intention is and what your fears are and all those things. I'm sure, I know prayer does. I don't want people to feel like they're solely alone and responsible for all their actions. God is within you and you can pray. And that's how Jesus came in the first place. But we do have to take responsibility for what we're seeing in the universe back to us, including on Earth.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm just looking at one of the questions for both of you. Do you think Jesus is the universe itself?
Do you want to go, or would you like me to
go? I don't mind. I'll go. I mean, it depends on everyone. God, Jesus, it's a name, it's a classification. I think the embodiment is pure divine love, and this, I feel, is the greatest power that we have. And Silvia, you spoke about the heart. The heart is an incredible navigation tool to navigate our life. Really, is God the universe? Well, everything is intricately combined. There's no separation. So I think all of us are, including God. Everything is one in essence. We're just particles or pieces of a whole.
Mm-hmm. Well, I believe Jesus, and I believe what he told me in my dream. So I should also let people understand that I don't belong to a religious group. I don't have a lot of history in terms of knowledge about any of the Bible, anything I've ever seen. It's just because I've looked at it for a minute and checked it out. So when I had this powerful experience, this was a real, powerful, spiritual, transformative experience. And to answer the question, when Jesus said that we witness ourselves, I'm using my words now, we witness ourselves through the reflection of the universe. I know that God, me, you, Jesus, all of us are interacting back and forth. And again, the universe is just reflecting back to us. So we always want to know where Jesus or God is, and they live right within. So when you think of the word, and this is what he showed me, and the information that came in. So when he said, the kingdom is within, who lives in the kingdom? God. So we keep searching for God outwards because, okay, this is an opinion. This is me now, not what was in my dream, but we're looking for God outwards because we're not satisfied with knowing God within ourselves. So we keep thinking that there's going to be a better place, a better time, a better incarnation, a better dimension, and actually it's now. And it's our ability to create heaven on earth now. And that's also what he expressed to me, is that it's not tomorrow, it's not yesterday, it's always Alpha and Omega. God's there. And this is a very daunting prospect for a lot of people because they aren't really connected with their hearts and with God. And I know that because prior to the dream, I was the same. I was looking outside of myself, and I was kept looking and kept seeking for those things. But once we find it within ourselves and cultivate it like a garden, then we'll start to see the manifestations, and we'll start to realize the empowerment and the co-creative power we have within us. Powerful words, I know, and I know it. Look, it changed my entire life. I have never been sad since that day. Once I was immersed in that truth, I realized I'm free. First of all, I'll live forever. Secondly, I have a beginning and an end to this experience. I'm fine with it. If you really think about it, who wants to live in one experience forever? I want to live multiple experiences. And in addition to that, I want to discover and explore all aspects of co-creation along with God and have fun.
Mm. Oh my gosh, it makes me so happy talking to you. I'm feeling it in my heart. I absolutely agree. I'm just seeing its image of, we are in essence, in my opinion, in essence, vibration, in essence, sound, in essence, energy. And I just feel these energetic waves. So what I'm seeing with my mind's eye is that every emotion, every feeling creates these waves for our future moments of now and for our reality. And I believe the only freedom we have, despite what's happening in the world, despite what's happening outside of us, is to choose how to feel in any situation. Our consciousness creates our reality, and this is our birthright. This is our choice.
Yeah. And, even when I hear that, and I can speak about this freely on your show.
You can say whatever you want here.
Okay. So a lot of people will say, well, look at the state of the world. Well, look at the state of the world. And secretly, I want to say that's the state of our minds. Because when you think about the earth is perfect. It has perfect waterways, perfect systems, perfect. There's nothing wrong. It doesn't get any better. It self-sustains. It sustains us. It's perfect. When you think about our bodies, just in general, we're born and we function perfectly. We never think about, oh, well, I'm going to create a new cell right now, or I need to do this. Like, generally speaking, in health, we walk forward and we're in perfection until we decide that things are wrong, until we feel certain ways. So when people ask me about the state of the world, in my mind. I don't usually say it out loud, but here I am being recorded on YouTube.
Oh, we won't tell anyone.
What I'm really thinking is, and even when I think negative thoughts, I think, what's going on with your mind? Why are we carrying that vibration? Because one of the things he showed me is the word information too. Information, we think about information as data or data, however, whichever country you're in, but it's actually information. So whatever we're thinking and feeling is in formation. If every single one of us today decided to stop with the thinking and move and shift, you would have a tremendous spiritual transformation. The problem is that nobody knows what to think in unison. People are they've kind of dissected things so deep and so far that we've forgotten the whole meaning. To be joyful, to be helpful, to be of service, to be loving. We've categorized and systematized and done so much with our own, but we forgot the whole reason why we're here. And then we have people running around saying, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my purpose is. I'll tell you what your purpose is to be alive. And every opportunity you can, be of service, be aware, be in tune, create a vibration of love, create a space that's heavenly, create heaven on earth if you can, while you can. That's what I think.
Well, I agree with you as well. The purpose of life is joy. In my opinion, we come here to create and co-create. I'm just looking at some of the comments. What if we don't want to come back? Well, I've gone into the non-physical realm and I have asked about this, and we do choose to come back because it allows us the greatest opportunity for spiritual growth and evolution. No one wants conflict or contrast, but I know the greatest growth in my life has occurred from this. There's no doubt anyone in our humanness will experience sorrow and despair at points in our life. But as we mature, we don't necessarily push this away, and we don't necessarily see it as a bad thing. If we can recycle it and use it as an opportunity for growth, life becomes a whole lot easier. And again, it goes back to what you said about our consciousness, or our perspective creates our external landscape. That people are suffering. There is suffering in the world, but it's how you look at it.
Yeah, well, the suffering comes from the decision to decide that you are powerless. And the dream that I had told me that the kingdom is right within me and that the power to co-create is within me. So if I'm stuck in a place, in a position, in wherever I'm stuck, where I perceive to be stuck, I have the co-creative power within me at any moment in time to create transformation, at least to move in that direction. So if someone says to me, well, what if I don't come back? That, to me, what I hear is, I don't believe that I am a co-creator. I believe I'm a victim of circumstance, and that this is a random game, and that there is no order to God's dimensions and universe and everything. But there is an order, and it's a perfect order. It's so perfect, it's seamless, and it's beyond belief. If we say, I don't want to come back, for example, you don't have to. You're going to go exactly where your mind is. So if your mind is all about coming back, whether you say don't come back or do come back, your subconsciousness, your whole consciousness is going to drill straight into coming back. So what is the point then? What are you talking about, Silvia? You are where you're at. Where your consciousness and where your attention is at is going to be the most predictable future that you will have, is where your consciousness is and where your vibration is. And whatever you think about, it just grows. And whatever you move your attention away from, it disassembles and withers. So if you're constantly worried about a particular thing, ailment, situation, current events, it's almost like adding gasoline to the fire, because your consciousness is energy, and where your consciousness goes is where you're loaning your energy to that cause. So be mindful of where you're loaning your energy to and what your thoughts are. And when people don't have a body and you're in between incarnations or wherever you choose to be, if you talk to NDEers, they'll say to you, I just got there like that. I went through walls, I got through this and that, because there is no physical boundary and stopping time and space. Whereas in the human body, we don't notice that we're actually creating as we move along because it's happening so slowly. But we'll say things about ourselves or the situation or whatever. We don't realize that those words and those vibrations are actually adding and loaning energy to creation. That's all.
Yes. Very simply, where focus goes, energy flows. I like to think of it like that. Or we do live in a magnetic, energetic universe. So thoughts are energetic, and feelings, the way we feel, again, you mentioned the heart structure. Feelings are magnetic. So the more we feel something with our heart, the greater we pull it to us, and at a more rapid rate. If it's a manifestation or something we would like to achieve or something we wouldn't like to have in our life, the more we feel it and think about it, the more it will come to fruition in our life.
And the reason why a lot of people struggle with manifestation, just to add to what you said, Luisa, is because what we do is when we go into meditation to manifest, we're like, okay, universe, bring me this and bring me that. And perhaps some of it will come to you because of your faith, because faith is a very powerful energy, but it's the opposite of what should be. So you say to yourself, I want to become this, and I want to create this, and then it manifests. And so a lot of us get disappointed when what we truly want isn't coming because we didn't generate from the kingdom within. We're trying to generate it from without. And we're looking for validation from without. Does that person like me? Does that person think I'm this? Does this person think I'm... Well, just the nature of doubt is going to reflect that doubt back to you. So it becomes actually predictable and kind of almost enjoyable. I feel like there's more, I don't want to say control, but understanding over my life when I realize that I'm the projector of all these things. Oh, yeah, okay. I was worried about that, wasn't I? And then it came. Well, there's no doubt about it. And you want to know what is proof of this? Are synchronicities.
Yes, I love synchronicities. I've had, of course, like you, so many. And the more, again, where focus goes, energy flows, the more you notice them, the more occur. I just wanted to say also, not everything that we wish for happens. Things occur in divine order and for our best and highest good. Each moment is an opportunity for growth and learning as well.
Yeah, well, the universe, like I stated, the universal reflection, us, our divine nature is perfection. So if you're not ready for something, let's do something funny, like something that's sort of abstract and worldly. Like if you wanted what? Like tell me something you wanted that was kind of absurdly outlandish, but you really wanted.
Oh my gosh. Well, I wanted to move to the country and Sydney's in lockdown, so the country's come to me.
Okay. Well, that's actually quite an intense thing.
I know.
You know why it's intense is because it's not just you. You have a whole collective consciousness wave working against that manifesting. So remember, the reason why Jesus was so keen on us loving one another is because he understood that principle and shared that principle, that it's a collective thing. So I really cannot advance more than you or any of the listeners. And that's actually the deepest motivation for me to share this dream, because I am an introverted person. I get anxiety at the thought that I actually came on live, that it's on a YouTube video, because I'm a private person, but I understand that people, all of us, can't exceed or excel, I should say, excel without one another, because it's a collective manifestation. And until we shift our thought about how we manifest, and really it's about love and about God. And I know you're like, well, how could you say it's about love? Well, that's the force of nature. That's the force of reality. That's the actual force from your heart. It's not just, oh, I love. It's actually love is a force. like gravity.
Gosh, I love you, Sylvia. It's so funny because I'm a private person as well. You wouldn't know it. And I don't particularly like live events. I think, oh my gosh, something could go wrong, or I don't know, the go live doesn't work. But the more you practice at something, and my secret, it's almost like I've discovered the secret in some way, how to evolve and grow rapidly, is to overcome my fears. Paper tiger fears. I almost feel, again, it is an initiation by the universe. Once I've overcome that, I'm greatly rewarded, and miracles and magic come into my life when I push through fears that aren't real. Fear, I always say, we're born with love, and as you said, we're born perfect, and fear is what we learn, and it so often holds us back from shining our light. So I would encourage everyone to move through those fears that aren't really fears after all. And this is how you shine your light in the world, your unique light. You don't have to change the world. You can just tell someone you love them or smile at a stranger. This is changing, as Silvia said, the vibration, the energy, the flow of life.
Yeah. And I love you too, Luisa. I do the same thing. And those paper tigers you talk about. So what that does is each time you come out, Luisa, and you speak your truth or interview someone and you open, you're authentic and vulnerable. And, I know, as you know, that there's a hidden section of comments in YouTube, and maybe you don't have a problem with that, but that people can judge you. There is that possibility. But when you overcome that possibility of being judged and you actually actualized your purpose and your existence, it feels so good. Even if half the people don't believe you, or maybe they're saying things, you're actually stepping into and actualizing your soul's purpose. It's difficult because you have to be brave, but the reward, like you said, is confidence, and not the kind of confidence where you strut around, but the confidence that you know who you are and that you're following your life's purpose.
Beautiful. Yes. I mean, the purpose of life is joy and creativity, how we can create, as you said, imagination with our mind. I don't worry so much what people think anymore. I often say to people, what would you create if you didn't worry what other people think? We're so often held back by the opinion of others. I'd love to
Let's do it.
Respond to some of the questions. A lot of people are asked is, how do you pray to Jesus, or how do you pray?
Me personally? Well, I'm going to be forthright. I'm not a very sophisticated prayer. I don't have any particular verses, but what I do is I open my heart 100%. Like I make a deal with Jesus every time. I'm like, okay, Jesus, if you can just show me some more insight and wisdom, I promise you that I will do my best to actualize that and follow that. If you can give me the grid and the instruction of how I can live a better life. And I have been, on other occasions, I have had meditations and dreams that have shown me about judgment, for example, of why it's not good, not just don't judge. Why? Why? Because what it is you're actually holding yourself back. If you believe what he said, that the universe is a reflection, that means everybody who you look at is an aspect of yourself. And when you judge that person, you're stunting your own growth. Back to prayer. I simply close my eyes and I go in a natural place. I like to pray. If it's not before sleep, I close my eyes and I just say, okay, God, I want to be on your team. I love you. I want to do the right thing. I'm not going to hang on to my ideas where I think, like, tell me the truth. Let's make this happen. That's my prayer.
Yes, I'm a bit like you. I'm more non-denominational. I don't always pray. I mean, I do if I have answers I require and I don't know the answers. I don't necessarily sit down and pray. I ask in my mind, or sometimes I just recognize how grateful I am, and I look at all the things I'm grateful for, and I realize it's almost like a shift in consciousness when I'm wanting something that this is not manifestation, but when I guess a prayer is wanting something that perhaps is not in your life. It's a shift in consciousness to a higher vibration. So gratitude is a wonderful way just to connect into that and know that everything happens in divine order and for my best and highest good.
I love your answer, because your life is a prayer and your heart is constantly being read because the kingdom is within. Look, God isn't anywhere. It's kind of like, how do you talk to yourself? What is the conversation you're having within yourself? Is it gratitude, like Luisa just said? Is it anger? Is it jealousy? Is it hope? Is it faith? Is it, what is it? Because your heart is ringing that vibration, and the vibration is heard throughout the universe. So I agree with you. We don't have to pray. I do take time to pray. And one time I'll tell you about a funny prayer, but I want to answer questions, but this one funny prayer.
Yeah.
So I sat down and I thought, okay, I'm going to pray and I want to meditate this time. And God showed up, boom. And I heard God, and I was like, did I actually hear God? Because I would have teased somebody if they had told me, but I actually heard God. And he said, Sylvia, I want to answer a question that's been on your heart, but not your lips. You keep looking for me and you don't know where to look. This was before I had my Sedona dream. Mm-hmm. And he said, you can find me in the beating hearts of all living things. And I said, no, because I didn't want to believe that in order to find God, that's where you had to look. Anyways, let's answer some more questions.
It just came to me, well, who knows where the information came through consciousness, but I just feel there's two parts to a prayer. There's the prayer and the desire for something, but also how to manifest. And if you want, prayer raises your vibration. But if you want, from my personal experience, but if you want to manifest something in your life, you really need to be aligned with God or aligned with your heart, not wanting anything outside of you, completely whole with the source or God or Jesus or the universe. You can call it whatever you want, and then believe it's going to be happen, that it will happen with all your heart, and align yourself to the vibration of it. But I would recommend not trying to manifest until you've prayed to raise your vibration. I don't know how do you feel about that, Silvia?
I think that's perfection. And that's what I call being. In order to manifest it, you have to be it. Because remember, the universe is reflecting us. So I think what you just said encapsulates the whole thing perfectly, by being it. Because that sort of urgency of feeling like, I want that. That is a lack consciousness thing, meaning that you feel that it's not there. I can't get it. You can't. You just have to be it. You have to imagine it so much and step into it. And like you said, Luisa, align yourself with it energetically, and then let it go and let it flow. Let it happen.
Oh, gosh, we could just agree the whole time on everything.
I know. But this is a great relationship. No wonder we're both doing the same things.
Gosh, I'm just looking. David just send a comment. How can you bring yourself to a higher vibration? I don't know if I answered that. Is there any other words you could say about that, Sylvia?
Yeah, sure. I mean, first of all, being conscious and aware of what's happening allows you to do that, because it's not one big event that shifts your consciousness, although that dream was a pretty shifty dream. Like it shifted me, but it's actually in the small things. It's actually in the day-to-day decisions of how you're going to react. And then as you move through your day, kind of like just walking through your day, you are creating a vibration. Okay. Before I move ahead, this is coming to me. Right now, you're creating a vibration, and I bet you don't even know that you're creating that vibration. That's how smooth and seamless creating a vibration is, because the vibration starts with your heart, with your thought, and with your intention. And so wherever your heart, intention, and thoughts are right now, that's the vibe you're creating. And guess what else? Everybody knows that. They can recognize that vibe. They feel it, and they're being affected by that vibration.
Absolutely agree. But I'm also feeling that by the both of us, the two of us communicating and talking about affirmations and love, we're raising the vibration. And again, it is a ripple out of energy. And anyone that's listening to this or watching this are drawn to that. And we're raising the vibration of your family and my family together, and anyone who may watch this now or at a future point in time.
I wish I could put it on my channel too. It's so good. We got some good chemistry here, Luisa.
I know. I don't. Well, I'll have to do more.
We'll have to do more together. I think that we're all doing things with ease, and we're kind of taught that things have to be hard. We're kind of taught like there's a good and there's a bad and there's a punishment and there's this and there's this sort of polarity. But again, God doesn't make mistakes, and we're all going through it, and we're all learning our lessons. And sometimes somebody's vibration doesn't align with ours, and then that's when we say, oh, I don't like that person. But in fact, it's just a misalignment. It's like they're somewhere else, so they're actually in a different dimension than you are. Even though you're both on earth, your actual thinking and vibration might as well be in a different dimension.
Agreed. I'm just looking at some of the comments. Thank you to the audience for offering some beautiful ways to raise your vibration. Sit in nature, of course, is an amazing one. I'm just going back to David Freer's question, how do you raise your vibration? The simplest way is our thoughts create our reality. So basically, get happy. We have to learn. It's like you could call it a mind muscle. I always say, if you practice something for 30 days, including happiness, it's something we learn. You get much better at it. That's the simplest way I can say it, is focus on good feeling thoughts.
Luisa, who said about nature? Because they're so right on it. Like what I do is, I live in nature because
nature's a big one for you. That was Gwen. Thank you, Gwen, the raw vegan.
Yes. And nature carries it organized, healthy, balanced information and vibration. And that's why I spend my time there, particularly if I feel upset. I want to move in nature. Water for me does that. But when you're living in a city, it's a little bit more challenging. Like sometimes I'll go to certain cities, and cities have their own vibration. Sometimes I can't even sleep in a city because the vibration is so different or strong than mine when I've traveled. Other times I feel so comfortable in a city, like in Australia. I absolutely love it there when I visit. And my favorite place right now is where I am in the middle of the forest, pretty much surrounded by water. I love that vibration. So whoever, Gwen, thank you so much for bringing that up. Yes, that's what nature is really good. And we should really try not to chop down too many trees and to pollute nature, because it's really something that's there as a gift for us. And again, I'm not some kind of, environmentalist. I'm just saying, for the benefit of mankind, that's actually there for us.
Yeah, we spoke about this last week. Nature is so important. And it's free. Go outside and sit even on the grass in a park if you can, or if you can't get out, bring a plant inside. Eat, as you said, everything has a vibration. Or practice meditating, and in your mind you can imagine yourself in a beautiful forest. I honestly think if our consciousness creates our reality, and we can do a beautiful meditation surrounded by nature, I also feel that this has incredible benefits as well.
I agree. There's probably some people watching and in circumstances that are not favorable. And I'm here to tell you that I'm sorry that you're feeling that way. However, the power is within you to shift the vibration, and you can start practicing right away as of today. Tap into your heart, tap into your thoughts, tap into your intentions, and carry those intentions to where you would like to be, and then who you want to be and how you want it to be, and then it will transpire.
Absolutely perfect. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Cheers. Is there anything else we got to answer on the?
I think we've pretty much covered everything. We're basically saying the same things with different words.
There you go. Well, I feel like you're my soul sister, and you're just such a lovely person. And I particularly want to commend you on having the courage, because I know what you've shared with me that you're a bit shy about, not shy, more introverted, a private person, shall we say. And it really takes a lot of courage to do that. And I want to thank you, because I know what you're doing on, I believe that people all over the world are like beacons of energy and light. And you're representing your zone and your area. And although we're saying the same thing, just slightly different, and sometimes it's absolutely the same, like in this conversation, we are raising the vibration by shifting the energy in the room and bringing something new. And what I really want to bring to people is the power is within you. And I think that the worst case scenario for human beings is that they feel powerless, and it makes them feel like victims, and it makes them focus on it, and it becomes almost like an obsessive reaction. And it's not their fault, it's not a bad thing, it's just a common thing that happens. And then we become unhappy, and we're always looking for somewhere else, and we're disappointed because that somewhere else is also elusive, and we keep trying and trying when it's right in you.
Perfect way to end the show. But Sylvia, I have to say, I think you're incredible, and I again commend you for, as you said, you're a bit of an introvert, well, sharing your dream, not just because you hope that it can help others, even if it's one person in some way. And I want to thank you so much for your openness and your honesty today. And also thank you for sharing with the Passion Harvest audience. And I look forward to doing more with you, and I want to thank the Passion Harvest audience as well for showing up and engaging and asking questions. And I really hope you've enjoyed this episode live today.
Thank you for receiving me. Thank you for the information. Thank you to your audience.
Lots of love to you and to everyone.
You too. God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you along. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.